returning. And we are in scenic Thompson, Connecticut to watch the chase for the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series Championship. 5 drivers have an opportunity to claim the title. Who will be the last man standing? In the end, only one will be able to call themselves the new champion. Strap in. The Xtra Mart World Series 125 is next. And welcome to Thompson Speedway in Thompson, Connecticut. Coverage of the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series here on Speed. It is the Xtra Mart 125, part of the Xtra Good weekend to go racing. Alongside Jeff Fuller, I'm Rick Benjamin. Eric Freed is on pit road for us. And Jeff, this is the traditional close to the New England fall season.
It is. I'll tell you what, and I can't think of a better track to have it at. Thompson Speedway is a beautiful facility. They got an awesome golf course right across the street, huge crowd, and these guys are going to get their money's worth today. Don't
know if we'll see much putting, but we'll see a lot of driving here today. You can see the parking lot full. Track temperature around 70. Not a bad day to go racing. 55 degrees as we get set for the green flag. 5 drivers have a mathematical chance at the championship, Jeff. The guy who's dominated, though, Ted Christopher, is third. He's really got a tough road to hoe today if he's going to steal the title from Stefanik.
He really does, Rick. I mean, he's won 5 times this year, but what's really hampered him was the DNFs, and you can't have that chasing after the points.
So Christopher will have to win and have Stefanik have a horrible day, but the points leader is with Eric Freed.
Well, Rick, here it is, the 19th and final race of the Featherlite Modified season, and look who's sitting at the top of the heap. Mike Stefanik, you've won this series 5 times. What's the secret to holding on to that 52-point lead and taking your 6th title?
Well, obviously, we redrew 10th, so I got to be a little careful there. Just kind of have some patience and go with my instincts. Got to finish the race.
Are you going to be aggressive out there today, or are you going to be conservative? What's your mindset?
My mindset is to follow my instincts. I'll be passive if I have to be, and I'll be aggressive when I do have to be. So I'll just see how the cards, unfold, see what we got for a race car. It's driving pretty good, so I'm just going to, take what comes my way.
All right, good luck to you today, Mike. He qualified 3rd, but the redraw did push him back to 10th, so we'll see what kind of magic is in the number 21 here today.
Well, the 3rd driver with an opportunity to score the championship today has not won a race yet in 2002. He's half of a brother combo. Jeff Fuller is our analyst. His brother Rick Fuller has to come from 28th starting spot on the grid to have a shot at the title.
Mike Stefanik is leading the points. Rick Fuller chasing him, and it's going to be a long chase here today, Rick. You're 2nd in the points heading in, and we're back here a little bit. Rick's getting strapped in, but you're starting 28th. Well, a little bit. I'm trying to be nice. You're starting 28th. What happened?
Wow, we were loose in time. I think a midget car blew up. I don't know. I'm a driver. I can come up with 100 excuses. So we had to take a provisional. It's the first one this year. Probably not the best time to have to do it, but we'll make it. It's a good team.
You're a smart guy. Have you figured out the math? What it will take to get past Stefanik for that points championship?
I told you, math isn't my strong point. That's why it's important that I win and I don't have to crunch any numbers. Then it's up to him to lose the championship. So, we're probably going to pitch short. We're probably going to come in around lap 30 early and then wait for those guys to pit and let them give us the spots.
All right. We'll see if some of that Fuller magic is alive and well here today.
I don't know, Jeff. What do you think?
That's definitely a good strategy. Like I say, I mean, if he can do that, that's the way to do it.
Beautiful day for racing here at Thompson, Connecticut. 11 different divisions are here to compete this weekend on a very long short track, 5/8 of a mile.
5/8 of a mile, and I'll tell you what, they did an excellent job to this track. They came in there, they repaved it. There used to be a bump coming out of turn 2, and I really had that thing down pat. I was real comfortable going over it, but a lot of guys weren't, so that kind of took a little bit of a disadvantage that I had at this track, but I'll tell you, they did an awesome job repaving it.
As you can see, there's water in the infield. It's been a wet period here in the Northeast, but the track is nice and dry, and we've got mostly clear skies in the area today as the field rolls out, getting ready to go in the World Series 125 for the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series. Now, if you haven't been with us earlier this year, these are some of the fastest race cars in all of NASCAR, the only open-wheel touring series in NASCAR.
I mean, just look at them things. Are those real race cars or what? Just look at those cars.
It takes all a driver's skill to handle a modified, Eric Freed.
Well, this is the oldest division in NASCAR. It's the only open-wheeled series, so really kind of a throwback series here in the Featherlite Modified Tour. They like to call it the most exciting racing on 4 wheels. I like to call it the most exciting racing on 2 cheeks. Remember when you were a kid and you'd scooch down the stairs on your backside? Well, that's what it feels like to be one of these Featherlite modified cars. Look at this. I'm about 3 inches off the ground, maybe 2.5 inches off the ground, and I really feel like I'm just a little closer than I want to be to the asphalt. And that's what the drivers like Jerry Marquis feel like. But they also feel like they're in total control. Look at the size of the wheels, and with 650 horsepower, you know these things can go fast. They can go where these drivers want them to go, and they get there quickly. At about 2,600 pounds, these little rockets scoot around the track. And I'm just thankful that I'll be watching and not a passenger in one of these things, or certainly not driving it, because I don't know if I can get out of here. Rick, back to you.
Extremely responsive race cars, aren't they, Jeff?
They really are. Actually, they're kind of like driving a go-kart. I mean, they are 2 inches from the ground. And when you get into the corner, you don't have like a Winston Cup or a Busch car where you've got 4 or 5 inches of the car going back and forth. These things react real quick.
Well, the field is rolling. We'll come back in just a moment to show you the starting lineup and take the green flag, the World Series 125 for the Modified Series next. Guys, speed, the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series, the season finale, the Xtra Mart World Series 125. Alongside Modified Tour veteran Jeff Fuller, I'm Rick Benjamin. 32 cars set to do battle. Jerry Marquis will start up front from Broadbrook, Connecticut in the 3, and veteran Charlie Pastriak out of Lisbon, Connecticut in car number 5. Second row from New Jersey, John Blewett the third in the 77. Veteran Eddie Flemke Jr. from Southington, Connecticut in the 79 car.
We have Ted Christopher from Plainville, Connecticut in the Mystique Motorsports Chevrolet alongside of Chuck Hosfeld, Ransomville, New York. Tony Hirschman in the Camco Supply Chevrolet, and Tommy Cravino in T.S. Hollis Pontiac.
And the fifth row, L.W. Miller from Pennsylvania in car number 73. The series points leader, Mike Stefanik out of Coventry, Rhode Island, and Art Berry's 21. Row number 6, Zach Sylvester. He's from Lebanon, Connecticut, the Country Homes Chevrolet, and Kevin Konopka in car number 51.
And we have Dan Avery in the Budweiser Chevrolet along with Dave Bergman from Rehoboth. Jimmy Broadwick from Brookfield, Connecticut, along Dave Etheridge in the A&A Office System Chevrolet.
Ninth row, former champion Jamie the Jet Tomeno from Howell, New Jersey in the 99. Ken Bouchard, Winston Cup veteran in car number 91. In row 10, Joey Caraccia from Selden, New York in car number 34. And out of Bethlehem, Connecticut, Bo Gunning in the 09, the T.S. Haulers Chevrolet.
Then we have Chris Wenzel in the West Side Finishing Pontiac, and Fred Vordemeyer in the E.J. Davis Trucking. Nevin George in the Zero car, he's been a real terror lately, and Tony Ferrente Jr. in the Ferrente Racing Chevrolet.
13th row, Todd Zegedy from Ridgefield, Connecticut in the white number 50. Jared Bertuccio in the Duceys from Center Reach, New York. Doug Kobe has the 28 car in the 14th row alongside Ricky Fuller, second in points in car number 8 from Auburn, Massachusetts.
We got Robbie Summers from Manchester, Connecticut, and Chris Kopech from Ware, Mass. in the Diversified Metal Chevrolet. Tim Ayer from Toms River, New Jersey, and Rene Dupuis, Space Fitters Chevrolet.
And the field lining up 16 rows behind the safety car, getting set to do battle here. Jerry Marquis in car number 3. Starting on the pole, he was only the 5th quick qualifier in the Bowler family car. Marquis, a driver who's got a lot of experience here in both full-body Busch North Series cars and these open-wheel modifieds. He's a driver everyone will have to account for today. Right, Eric Freed?
Well, Jerry Marquis drew the first pole position after the redraw here, and this would be a big boost to this team. Jerry's had some troubles at home, and he's hopeful that all those problems can be forgotten. His team here has kept him together. He calls this his family, as his father's been battling an illness, so Jerry's been leaning on them, and he'll be leaning on them here today, certainly, because he won the first race of the Featherlite Modified Tour season right here in Thompson. Let's see if he can make it a bookend year by winning the finale.
And that Bowler team's got a lot of history at this speedway, Jeff Fuller.
They really do. I mean, Lenny Bowler and that Michael and everybody on that team, they've been racing here forever. I mean, Lenny was one of the first people to own a modified.
This racetrack, Thompson, goes back, I believe, into the 40s. This was one of the places where the midgets were dominant for so many years. You can get a glimpse of the old straightaway down the front stretch right in front of the grandstands. It's outside the front retaining wall. They've done a beautiful job of rebuilding Thompson Speedway here in the last few years. Glad to have you with us. The Xtra Mart World Series 125. We're underway, and it's Marquis in the 3 car darting off to the early lead.
Man, he got a good jump right there, and that's what you want to do. You want to get out in front, get some clean air, and go.
Charlie Pastriak tucks into second in the blue number 5 behind Marquis. Side by side, they go for third. The 13 of Ted Christopher wiggles out of 4, but he gets the spot.
Yep, that was a little bit of bumper right there with that Nerf bar, and you really don't want to be doing that with these race cars.
Now, these are bias ply, high horsepower cars. You have to wait a few laps, don't you, for the tire temperatures to come up?
Yeah, like any tire, they'll start them a little bit low, and you just cannot abuse it. The car's a little bit tight, you can't beat up on the right front. If it's a little bit loose, you can't beat up on the rears until the pressure comes up a little bit.
At yellow 77, John Blewett III, a third-generation star out of New Jersey. He settles back into fourth spot. And we've got caution on the speedway. Looks like Bo Gunning has gone around on lap number 3. So Gunning in the 09 brings out the first yellow of the day.
Got 2 rear flats right there. I don't know how he got 2. That must be some kind of record right there.
So troubles for Gunning out of Connecticut. He's a nearly hometown driver, the T.S. Hauler's Chevrolet, and he'll have to bring that car to the pits.
Yeah, he's got the suspension drag in there and this and that. I mean, you need to try to get it back to the pits and work on it to get it ready, but it's not doing the underneath of that car any good.
Not at all to drag it that badly. So the T.S. Hauler's car will come around, and Gunning will come to the attention of his crew. Another car headed to pit road as well. And they're going to have some time. It's going to take them a while, I would say, to get that car up and get those wheels and tires off. Oh, and Chris Wenzel's car, heavy damage to the front end of the West Side Finishing Chevrolet.
Yeah, it looks like that right front is broken. The tie rod's broken right there, and they're going to have to replace that. I don't know how all this happened.
Well, Wenzel and Gunning started close to each other. Wenzel started 21st in the row behind Bo Gunning, and Gunning wrestling that 09 to try to get it back to pit road.
Well, what they're going to have to do is jack right underneath where it says ATL there and take a look at you've got trailing arms and all sorts of aluminum supports that hold the rear end in the car back there. And like I say, I mean, you don't want to wait for the wrecker to come, because then you're going to lose 2 or 3 laps. So what he did just there, hopefully he didn't hurt it bad.
So we'll see what Gunning's crew is able to do. Now, Gunning is a veteran of the Tour and a strong campaigner. Didn't qualify very well here, starting back in the 10th row, but he's a driver who's raced at Thompson many, many times. Pit road open right now. First caution of the day on lap number 3. Eric, what's the situation for Gunning?
Well, try as Bo Gunning might, and he tried to gun it around the track here at Thompson. No luck getting into the pits in an orderly fashion. That left rear, a mess, came down in that incident coming out of turn 3. So they work on Gunning's car right now.
He's got to be going a lap or 2 down, I would say, Jeff, with this long stop, and as long as it took him to get the car around to pit road.
Yeah, well, you know, the worst case scenario here was he would have come down pit road before the green flag was out, and they would have penalized him a lap. I mean, I think I would have done that. I think I would have come right in.
Well, Chris Wenzel's 83. He's out of Holyoke, Massachusetts. More extensive repairs will need to be done to that race car. Safety car is out in front of the field. 2 cars on pit road. We're just a handful of laps into the Xtra Mart World Series 125. We'll be back right here on Speed. International Speedway resurfaced a couple of years ago. New guardrails all around, new lighting. It's a whole new place, and it's a great place for race teams to come to. And this World Series has been a part of the landscape in New England for a long time in the fall. Some 30 years of history for this event. Bo Gunning's team has put a couple of new rear tires on the 09. Jeff, looks like he's ready to return to the field.
Yeah, it looks like he is. And, you know, this track owner, Don Honing and DR, they do such a great job. They should have just thrown the towel in yesterday, started them by points, but instead they had everybody here qualifying for this thing.
Final fling of the year for the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series. First restart of the day. Marquis of the 3 leads him to the stripe ahead of Pasteryak, and we're back underway on lap number 7. Down into the corner, side-by-side racing.
Whoa, man.
Teddy Christopher gunning for the front.
Man, he got loose coming off there.
That's Christopher in the 13, that blue car on the inside going for second. Here comes Blewett in the 77.
He's not holding too much back right now. You wouldn't know this was the start of or a few laps into this race, I'll tell you that right now.
Well, 125 laps, Jeff, is really not a very long run for these guys.
No, it really isn't. I mean, they run a 300 lapper here at Thompson during the year. And
oh, trouble again.
Oh, man.
One car goes around. There's contact. Couple of cars stack in behind. L.W. Miller in the 73 got sideways as they hit the corner. There's Rene Dupuis in the 25. Oh, Rick Fuller in the middle of it. Todd Zagady is there. Also, Jeff, a big skirmish here.
Man, that's, you know, Ricky was so excited coming in here, second in points. He, I just cannot believe it. Almost looked like the 73 car when he got in there. He was a little too high. There's LW right there. It looked like he was a little too high, and it just got sideways. He brushed the wall before he got to the corner.
So you got L.W. Miller. Oh, and there's heavy damage to the Sheba Racing 8 of Rick Fuller. Something's rubbing on the right rear corner. Looks like he's got some bent suspension parts.
Yeah, the right front looks bent, too. It looks like the whole right side of the car got it.
So our second caution of the day early in the going. L.W. Miller's car will have to come in on the hook, and there's fluid on the track. Somebody's broken a radiator, probably Miller. It's going to take him a while. L.W. out of the car, takes off the collar and the helmet. He'll take the ride back to the pit area. Dave Etheridge's car, boy, heavy damage. I think Etheridge was the guy who piled in first, causing a lot of damage to the front end of the 54 car. Here's Rick Fuller now trying to get the Sheba Racing 8 to the attention of his crew. You can see him wrestling the wheel, the front end bent up, and it may take a while for him to fix this. They'll bring the jack around. Crew members already taking a look at the right front corner of the car. Looked as though something was rubbing in the back of the car as well. Eric Freed's on pit road for us today.
Rick Fuller brings it into the pits, checking the handling, seeing how the tires move right now. He had to take a provisional to get into this field, and he got mixed up with some traffic in the back of the pack, and that's hurt the hometown favorite here. Before any work is done, they're going to send him back down and away, but there goes the hopes for a points championship for the number 8.
Hey, you can see the sheet metal, Jeff Fuller, on the right rear corner. I think it's rubbing on the tire there.
Yeah, the sheet metal or the Nerf bar or whatever. I mean, they're going to have to come back in. He better hope it's a long caution because they got a lot of work to do to that car.
So Fuller will come around behind the safety car and keep from losing a lap here as the cleanup goes on up in 3. Almost clips a guy on the caution situation. Etheridge's crew busy on pit road. Let's take a look at what happened up in turn 3.
Right there. It looked like, I don't know if he got help or not, but LW got into the wall right there, and then this whole mess started right there. You see everybody spinning. I mean, when you get up in the marbles up there, it's so hard to there was contact, Rick, wasn't it?
Sure, it looked that way. Etheridge popped the 73 of Miller first. Another car got into the mix there. Zegedy piles in the 50 right behind Fuller. Zegedy, a very fast young driver with a very good team. He had to start at the back as well. Rick Fuller, second in series points out on the racetrack. He will come around and his crew will get another opportunity to try to fix the problems with the 8 and keep Ricky on the lead lap here. But it's good. They're going to have a tough bit of work to do because at a place like Thompson that's a short track, even the pace car laps don't take very long to run.
No, they don't. But one good thing in this division, there's the pace car right there. He's able to pull up to the pace car to pit. In any of the other divisions, you've got to wait until you get by pit road to come down. So at least he's got that much more. So look at the Nerf bar. It's busted right there. That's going to eat right through there. They need to get that off and get the right front fixed. And oh man, just that's a mess.
Now that is not a hard fix to make on one of these modified tour cars. The Nerf bars usually unbolt and come right off, and they'll have to change the right rear tire as well. Back to Eric.
Rick Fuller back in. You see how he had to fight the handling on this car as he pulled it back in close to his pit stall. He's not all the way in, but he'll do whatever he can now. And now his teammates, his pit crew, go to work with the sledgehammer, trying to create some space. Fuller is from just up the road here, as you well know, Jeff. This is the hometown track for the Fuller boys, and he really wanted to put on a good show and get his first win of the season, but it's not going to happen here today.
Now behind the 8, you can see the 54 of Dave Etheridge going out on the hook. He'll go back to the garage area, and they'll see if they can repair what's wrong with the 54. So Rick Fuller's Sheba Racing team goes to work. We are under caution. We'll be back with more of the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series. Coverage of the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series, the Xtra Mart World Series 125, final race of the 2002 campaign. Alongside Jeff Fuller, I'm Rick Benjamin. Jeff, a lot of that happened at the back of the pack. A lot of guys trying to get to the front early here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit of impatience on some of the drivers' parts, but like I said, that just took out 5 good contenders right there.
This is Ted Christopher in car number 13, trying to get to the front and win and have a shot at stealing the championship. One more look at what brought out our caution flag a few moments ago. Heading down into 3, L.W. Miller gets pushed to the outside wall, turns it sideways, locks him up, and then gets tagged a couple of times.
Still, I don't know. It almost looked like there had to be contact there for LW to get up there.
That is not where you want to be on the racetrack going down into 3. On pit road, meantime, work continues on car number 8. Rick Fuller's machine looks as though they've got the front end put back the way they want it. New tires bolted on, at least on the right rear, at least one new tire. Safety car is in. Fuller saves himself from losing a lap. We go green on lap 14. Charlie Pastriak on the high side on the restart, grabbing the point. Then he slips in 2. Blewett trying to sneak through. Heading down into turn 3, Blewett going for the lead in that yellow 77, trying to get underneath Jerry Marquis.
Man, are they getting loose down there at the bottom?
Blewett gets it going. And they bump wheels in one.
Man, they're not holding anything back. Is this the end of the race or the beginning?
A lot at stake here today. The series championship. For some drivers like Rick Fuller, an opportunity to get to victory lane one final time. John Blewett III is out in front. Marquis runs second. Chuck Hosfeld in the Mystic Missile, the V4, up in third spot. Fourth belongs to Teddy Christopher in that blue 13 car.
You see how Blewett's taking a little bit higher line right in the middle as he exits the corner. He's taking a little bit higher line, maybe conserving his tires a little bit more.
They run single file out of turn 4 this time. From New Jersey, third-generation star John Blewett III has the top spot. Ted Christopher has been one of the dominant forces on the tour. He's got a title opportunity, Eric Fried.
All right, Barry, the number 2 guy in the points is out. Does your guy have enough to get to the front? I know you need some help from the 21, but what's Ted got today?
The 21 is definitely, we need some help there, but we're going to ride for a little while and wait till 50 to go, and we'll see what we got then.
What's he telling you on the radio? Anything?
Right now the car's pretty good, but we get a few more laps on it, and then we'll have to see if we got to adjust on it.
Right, Ted Christopher trying to pick up his 6th win of the season and maybe move up the points chase as well.
Well, Teddy has dominated with the 5 wins and 18 starts, 12 top 10s. Normally, you'd think that would be enough, more than enough, to be the points leader, but a series of DNFs, a couple early in the year, a couple midway through the year, put him behind. 77 points down to Mike Stefanik coming in. He's got to get that 13 car to the front, Jeff.
Yeah, he really does. And the crew chief made an interesting comment, wait until 50 and see where we're at. Well, they probably got a game plan now saying, hey, you know, maybe if we pit later and come back up through. See, some of these guys will want to pit early and keep their track position. So that's an interesting comment he just made. Oh, somebody's smoking. Oh.
Is that the 8 of Rick Fuller?
See, if I was NASCAR, I wouldn't have seen that. I didn't see a car smoking. Did you, Rick?
Yes, honestly, I did, I must say. 20 laps go up on the board. We'll take you through the full field. Tony Hirschman rounds out the top 10 in the 48 behind Dave Bergman's 32. Battling for positions up front, and there is Fuller going a lap down in the Sheba Racing number 8. So apparently the repairs done to that car did not get the car back up to speed, and that is going to cause severe difficulties for the driver out of Auburn, Massachusetts, trying to come from second and win the series championship here today. Crews clocking their drivers at Thompson. We'll be right back. International Speedway final race of 2002 for the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series. Alongside Jeff Fuller, I'm Rick Benjamin. Eric Fried on pit road for us today. Battling for position down in turn 3. This is for 6th spot. The 21 of Mike Stefanik, the 79 Eddie Flemke Jr. Stefanik, the points leader, only 2 wins in that car, but we saw him dominate at Stafford a few weeks ago, Jeff.
Yeah, we did, man. They had that car on a rail there. I don't know what they learned, or you know, when they built that car between Mike and I, they hit on something that thing was running on rails at Stafford.
John Blewett III out of New Jersey in the yellow 77 is the leader. He's on rails for now. Jerry Marquis, who started from the pole in the blue number 3, runs in second. There's Christopher in the 13. He's behind Hosfeld. Charlie Pasteryak started on the outside pole in that blue number 5. He is 5th. One car throwing some smoke down.
That looked like his right rear nerve by the back one, by the rear bumper, was smoking.
As quick as these cars are, as much like go-karts as they are built for full contact racing. And on short tracks, there's a lot of leaning on each other that goes on.
Yeah, there is. I mean, you really want to try to stay away from doing that because, like I say, if the tire hits, you know, the competitor's tire, it's very easy to get these things to, you know, get up and play leapfrog, and you don't want to be doing that with these open wheel cars.
And as light as they are, getting them to handle correctly is really a key.
Yeah, to get the balance right in the car, not so much aerodynamically, but mechanically to get it right where you can conserve your tires. That's the big thing here. Ooh, somebody is getting really loose. If you can get the stagger, say if you run 2.5 inches of stagger at this particular track, if it goes to 2 3/4, the car just feels really, really loose. If you've only got 2 1/4, the car feels really tight, meaning it won't turn. So you've got to get the car to where it will react the best at 2.5 inches, and just try to conserve the tires by not slamming the throttle to the floor until you need to later in the run.
These cars run on very wide Hoosier bias ply tires. Chuck Hosfeld in the V4 has a series win this year. He's trying to get that car to the front. Bob Garbarino's Mystic Missile going for 2nd spot, working on Marquis in the 3. Leaders lap by Rick Fuller's car one more time.
That's a really tough order to be on the bottom like the 4 car was, and the 3 was pinching him down to get the momentum. That's actually climbing a hill when you're coming up out of the corner. So in order to make that, you're much better to be behind the guy like he is right now and then drop down out of the corner because you're just being pinched too much in the middle.
30 laps of 125 complete. Tommy Gravino up to 10th now in the 12 car. Nevin George has made a good run. He's 11th in that 0. He started all the way back in 23rd spot, so Nevin George moving up quickly now. Leaders stay the same. Hausfeld trying to work his way to 2nd and get in position to take a run at Blewett.
I'll tell you, that Nevin George, I believe it was at Nazareth when he won that race.
Yeah.
And he was like unbelievable in that race car. He could do nothing wrong that day. That car was dialed in, and he did a great job driving.
His dad, Bruce's Paving Company, backs the 0 car. Nevin, a graduate of Mahoning Valley in Pennsylvania, and the small block modifieds. Went on the tour a couple of seasons back. Young driver with a lot of potential. I think Hausfeld in that V4 now being held up a little bit.
Yeah, he is, but he's being patient, too. I mean, like I said before, if he stays down, see, it's abusing the rear tires if he pitches the car down. But if he does like the 77 car is doing, gets in there, let the car take a set, go up the track a little bit, then stomp on the gas, you're using all 4 tires equally. Whereas if you're pinching it down and jumping on the gas, you're abusing your right rear, and that right rear will get mad at you.
Now 125 laps of racing here, distance about 70 miles if my arithmetic is correct. Do you need to stop for fuel and tires?
You know, I think that some of these people may possibly try to make it, but I don't know if that's tires mean so much here that I'd be in for some tires.
Got to look at Mike Stefanik. He's the points leader, 5-time Modified Series champion, back in 7th. He needs basically to finish 11th or better to clinch the title here today. Looks as though Steffi is content to just ride for the time being. He will make a move and go for 6th here, trying to get inside Flemke.
That was a cool move right there. When you could be in the middle of 3 and 4, and you just drive the car down to the and he takes it right back. You drive it right down to the infield, and that car is set up good here too.
Flemke in the 79 out of Southington, Connecticut, the son of a modified legend. Great car builder in his own right, just as his dad, Eddie Flemke Sr., was back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Eddie Jr. had an opportunity to get up and contend for the title when we were at Stafford several weeks ago. He wrecked early and pretty much ended his championship hopes. Youngster John Blewett III is the leader, 37 complete at Thompson. Welcome back to Thompson International Speedway here on Speed Channel. Racing across America, the NASCAR Featherlite Modifieds, and one car has gone around. Tony Ferranti Jr. and his Ferranti Racing Chevrolet spins through the grass, gets it pointed in the right direction, and he will bounce back up onto the speedway. No doubt Jeff Fuller, he's picked up a fair amount of trash on those tires.
Yeah, I'm sure he has. I mean, he's in the bottom. He's not annoying anybody out there right now. Just get his tires cleaned off in the lower groove. Might take a lap or two, but he'll be back up to speed.
Ferranti was running back in 17th spot at the time of that spin. Still early in the going. John Blewett III in that 77 car. He's opened up a good lead over the pack fighting for 2nd. Jerry Marquis in the 3 still has the spot.
It almost looks like Jerry may be holding him up there a little bit. Like I say, I mean, the 77 car looks to have the balance perfect where he's just out there and cruising right now. Another
strong competitor on the tour, Tony Hirschman in car number 48, the Camco Pontiac. He's on pit road. They're not in a real hurry. They're jacking the car up. I wonder if something's broken up front. They've got the hood off.
The guy on the right rear right now is checking the stagger in there, seeing how big the right rear tire is, and you're right. They're not in any hurry at all.
40 laps go up on the board. Your top 10, Mike Stefanik rides behind Flemke. He is 7th, and Zach Sylvester with a good run in front of Dave Bergman. Everyone kind of running single file right here. What's your strategy in 125 laps, Jeff, at Thompson? We started to talk about it a little earlier. Do you think about trying to go the whole way here without a stop?
Well, like I say, I mean, we've won this race both ways. We've won it by coming in real early if we had a problem where the car wasn't just quite right, and we've won it by waiting until there was only like 25 laps to go at the end of the race. So again, that is strictly up between the driver and the crew chief to discuss this during the race. And a key element in this racing and any racing is knowing the crew chief and the driver, how well they know each other as far as, well, the car's a little bit loose. Well, give me an idea of what your loose means, and if the guy says, I think it's going to come in, or whatever the case may be, then you make a decision on when you want to pit.
Thompson, a very racy racetrack under ordinary circumstances. So far in the early going, though, not too many drivers have wanted to go too wide. Everyone in the middle of the racetrack where all the black is, that's where most of the rubber's been laid down. Since they redid this racetrack, Jeff, and increased the banking in the corners, I guess you don't want to run the bottom here anymore.
You know, you can run the bottom right there coming off turn 4. If you can set the car up, let the car get a little bit high in the middle of 3 and 4 and then shoot off the bottom, it really seems to be the hot setup. I was able to go up there and do a little bit of testing in a race, and I'll tell you what, the track is just awesome to race on right now.
Hard to imagine that Jerry Marquis, who runs second there in the Bowler 3 car, has won only one of these Tour races in 2002. That's a great team. Marquis is a very accomplished driver. Here comes Hosfeld to the inside, trying to get second, and he'll do it.
Yeah, just drove it right underneath, and it's like one of them deals where Jerry almost figured, okay, you've been hounding me. Go ahead, there's the spot right now.
We'll see if Hosfeld indeed was being held up by Marquis. The youngster who did a stint of the NASCAR Craftsman Trucks a couple of years ago for Jack Roush. Didn't work out quite the way either side wanted, so Chuck has come back to the Modified Tour. He's from the Western New York area, and he's really started to get it going here in some very difficult race cars to drive. And now look at him open up in second spot. He's picked up a couple of car lengths on the 3 car. Now here comes Christopher. He'll take a look inside, going for third. But he can't get the job done. Lap traffic on the bottom, forcing Christopher to drop to the back. Let's get it down to Eric Freed for more on one of our top 10 qualifiers.
Well, Rick, this is one of the saddest sights you'll see in racing. The guys in Tony Hirschman's group packing things up. A very short day here. It ends before lap 50. Hirschman's trouble started really in June. He suffered a broken wrist. He missed 10 races. He made his return here in Thompson in the Sunoco 300, but this is how his season ends. Handling problems for Hirschman. His day is done.
Boy, they had a fast race car, Jeff. Second quick qualifiers today.
I mean, that's a really good team right there. And like I said, they just struggled so much this year. It's a lot of bad luck.
Oh, we've got trouble for Robbie Summers in the Budweiser number 10. He has come to a stop off the racetrack, trying to get that car off of pit road. Looks like they've got something smoking up front, maybe a water problem up there, cooling problem. Robbie started 29th today in that machine, and he was running 22nd when they had problems and had to go to pit road. Take a look at your top 25, top left of the screen. Kevin Konopka shown in 22nd. There's Summers and Ferranti. They've had problems. Rick Fuller still on the racetrack, although he's 7 laps down.
I'll tell you, Rick, he's got to be bummed out right now. He brought that Toyota certified used vehicle sponsor in this year, and things may be looking good for next year with him, but he had his hopes really high today to, possibly get his second championship, and it just didn't work out. He was involved with that mess at the beginning there.
Teddy Christopher, meantime, in the 13 car, takes that machine inside Marquis to grab third spot. So Christopher, with faint title hopes, he's running in front of the points leader, Stefanik. Your leader, though, is John Blewett III. We'll be back at Thompson. Alongside former Featherlite Modified Series champ Jeff Fuller, I'm Rick Benjamin. Welcome back on Speed to Thompson International Speedway. It's the Xtra Mart World Series 125, part of the World Series of Auto Racing that takes place here every fall. 11 divisions of cars in the pit area this weekend. In trouble for Tim Airey, the Bear Motorsports Dodge, the 14. He is off the pace at the bottom. Looks like he'll be headed for pit road. He's had a difficult season, and that team's certainly searching for the right combination. They will not find it here today. The NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series, a big part of the action always at Thompson. This is the headline event of the World Series, and we've got a good one going on right now. The lead belongs to John Blewett III. He's had the top spot in the 77 for quite a while, Jeff Fuller, as we get close to halfway. But now Chuck Hosfeld in that V4 moving to second spot. A little further back, we watch Ted Christopher. He's climbed to third. Christopher needs a win. He needs Mike Stefanik to have big trouble here in the next 70 laps or so if Christopher's going to have an opportunity to claim the championship.
This is Nevin George again. Zero car, I mean, he's got... He look at how low he is on the track, right? He is, but it
sliding
looks like he may be abusing his right rear a little bit there. But he's come out of nowhere. I mean, he's doing a great job right there.
Cool day today. We said track temperatures around 70 degrees at the drop of the green. That helps you take care of the tires, doesn't it?
Yeah, it helps a little bit, but still, there's the throttle in these cars. I mean, you on a long run, again, depending on whether you're going to stop for tires or not, you've got to learn how to respect your rear tires on these cars.
There's your top 10 as 60 laps go up on the board. How about Nevin George from 23rd starting spot up to 9th here? A little further back, Charlie Pasteryak working on Marquis. That 3 car is just not hooked up very well.
No, he's usually really smooth and looking good, but for some reason Charlie is all over him and ready to take that spot away.
This is for 4th. Marquis in the 3 car started up on the pole. He has backslid ever since the drop of the green. Pastriak started alongside of him, seems to have a little quicker race car. Marquis was the 5th quick qualifier. Pastriak was the 9th quick qualifier. Right now the 5 seems to be working better.
He is all over him. I mean, you know, you really don't want to get hit in the center of the corner. It's not really called a hit if you're just brushing or whatever, but here he goes. Now he's climbing a little bit of a hill right there. We'll see. Not quite enough. He is definitely stronger at this point.
Marquis is running where you like to, where you see most of the rubber down in the middle of the racetrack, and Charlie Pastriak unwilling to dive to the bottom in the corner. If you want to go down low in the turn, there's another shot in the back bumper.
I always speak too soon. Now that is going to upset him. You'll probably see his hand come up with his whole hand come up, like maybe.
Well, maybe not the whole hand. That is the chrome horn when you do it that way, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not cool. He might have just waited a split second to get back into the throttle. I mean, I'm not saying the Pastriak did anything intentional, but you get just into such a rhythm. Look at how much these guys trust each other, though. I mean, for them to run that close in open wheel, that is a good fight right there.
Inches apart at 100 miles an hour. Pastriak takes Marquis up out of the groove to try to make the pass.
That's what I say. I mean, the drivers settle it between themselves. He knew that wasn't intentional, because if it was, that would have been taken care of already.
Charlie Pastriak by a wheel may have the spot down into 1.
That is some awesome racing right there.
And he will get by. So Charlie Pastriak works his way by Jerry Marquis. You know, you think of passing on a racetrack being done very quickly, but that took, what, 2 laps for Pastriak to get by?
At least 2 or 3 laps, and they respect each other very well, and that's what it takes.
John Blewett, meantime, continues as the leader. Eric Freed standing by with his crew chief on pit road.
All right, Eric, we passed the midway point here so far. What's John telling you on the radio? How are things looking so far? It looks to be running really well.
It's real quiet right now. I just hope this thing goes green all the way.
What is the pit strategy? Is there a pit strategy for you today?
Hope it goes green all the way. We were going to pit early today.
The 77 is hoping to come up the lucky 77 and rolling the dice here today.
Jeff, what do you think about that? He said if we were going to pit, we would have pitted early. That means they're going to try to do the whole thing.
They're going to try to do the whole thing, and right now that car looks good enough where he can do the whole thing. I mean, that car just looks so good. He's conserving, and they've gone over this on the radio, so that's probably the best strategy they've got right now.
70 laps up on the board. Todd Zegedy, who came back from that early wreck involving L.W. Miller, he's up into the top 20. Konopka rounds out the first 20. There's Chuck Hosfeld in the V4, Bob Garbarino's car, veteran team. I mean, Garbarino and that squad, they go back almost to the very first days of modified racing in the Northeast before there was a Featherlite modified series. The team's second right now with their young driver in the saddle. And there's Ted Christopher in the 13 running third. He's got some lap traffic between he and the top 2 cars, so Teddy needs to get going here in the last 50 laps.
Yeah, you can really see him working that wheel inside there. See his hands going back and forth. I mean, he's giving that thing a ride for what he is really working that steering wheel. Watch this. That is just incredible the way that he's got to be loose.
Christopher trying to swing by some of the lap vehicles here at Thompson and get up close to the top 2 cars. He needs a win. He needs Mike Stefanik to finish worse than 11th here today. Stefanik at the moment sitting in the top 10 in 7th spot, apparently content to ride behind Eddie Flemke's 79. Here's your second place car again, the V4 and young Chuck Hosfeld. Out of Ransomville, New York, the Colton RV Dodge body modified. Down the backstretch here at Thompson. Closing in a little bit on Blewett. The gap about 6 car lengths now as we get past the halfway point. We'll come right back with plenty more. You're at Thompson International Speedway on Speed Channel. Back on Speed, part of racing across America, the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series season finale in 2002. Eddie Flemke Jr., car number 79 out of Southington, Connecticut. What a talent he is as a car builder and a driver, Jeff Fuller.
He really is. I mean, the last race that we saw here at Stafford, he had a really fast car, and, you know, some problems took him out there. But I'll tell you what, he really does an excellent job, not just fabricating and building the cars, but he's really come around as a driver, too.
4th quick qualifier in that Ron Bouchard Auto Store Pontiac. There's a name you'll recall if you've been a New England motorsports fan for a long time. And his brother Ken in the field here today. Ron Bouchard won career Winston Cup victory many years ago at Talladega. Your current leader is John Blewett III out of New Jersey in that 77 car, and nobody's had anything for him so far here.
No, I mean, the second place guy is like there, and he's just doing a comfortable just running a comfortable speed right now. But I'll tell you what, I've been in a situation before where you get a little bit too comfortable and, you know, you get yourself in trouble. So he's been around long enough. He knows what he's doing.
And he's got some great teachers. His granddad and his father, open wheel stars in the Northeast for a long time. Nevin George in the 0 out of Pennsylvania on the move. He's climbed to 8th now in that car. Jeff, you pointed out he was abusing the tire a little bit. You think he'll need to stop for tires?
Now, to be honest with you, if he's gone this far, I mean, unless they have that strategy, I've seen it happen before where you get 25, 30 laps left at the end of the deal here and come in and bolt new tires on and blast right to the front. So it's, as far as a crew chief goes, that's the toughest call to make.
The field is fairly well spread out now as we get closer and closer to 30 laps left in this chase. Blewett with about a 7-car length lead on Chuck Hosfeld, the second yellow car in line. That's the V4 of Hosfeld. He's gotten a little bit closer to Blewett, but I wonder if Blewett's kind of playing with him, watching him in the mirror.
The crew chief could be talking back and forth. There's your top 10 right there. I mean, they could be talking back and forth, reading his times off and this and that. And, you know, maybe he has another 1/10 of a second left if he really needs it. You don't know. I mean, that's why they try to do their scanners where nobody can hear them. I mean, it's just, that's in between the crew chief and the driver.
Not too many people could even see John Blewett III. We'll be back. Welcome back on Speed from Thompson International Speedway. It's the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series, the season finale for 2002. Championship in the balance, and there's the points leader, Mike Stefanik, who really turned in quite an effort a couple of seasons back. 2 years running in the late 90s, he won both the Modified Series Championship and the NASCAR Busch North Series title. Came south, tried the Craftsman trucks in the NASCAR Busch Series for a while. Now he's back home and on his way to what would be his 6th championship in the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series. Steffi runs 7th, and Jeff Fuller, it looks as though he's content to ride there.
Yeah, I mean, he's still working the wheel. You could see him working the wheel, so he's not just out on a cakewalk. He just put another lap on Ricky, and that is, as a driver, that's the toughest thing. I mean, you've got a championship on the line. Ricky came in second in points. You want to stay low and out of the way, but they've also got a minimum speed that you've got to maintain. If you can only run around that track at, say, 140 miles an hour, you're going to get the black flag. You're going to have one chance to get it in the pits and get it up to speed, or you're going to park it for the rest of the day. And like I say, it's the toughest thing for a driver to be looking in the mirror and trying not to get involved with the championship race or who's going to win the race or whatever. I'd much rather be, you know, out there at speed. It makes the day much easier to be competitive than it does to trying to stay out of each other's way.
Working toward lap number 90, your 2 leaders on the front straightaway, and that second yellow car running in second spot, that's Hosfeld in the V4. He's starting to close in a little bit on John Blewett III, who's led for a long time in the 77. Blewett's got lap traffic in front of him. It's slowing him down a bit.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, he's, like I say, he's worked the lap traffic to a T up to this point. I mean, you've got to, the spotters help you so much when you're driving the car that they can tell you, you know, half a lap before you get to this car, well, he's been running high or he's been running low, or, you know, he looks a little loose or looks a little tight or whatever, and it helps you out a lot by having a good spotter.
We've had a long green flag run here at Thompson. Only 12 cars remain on the lead lap. Talked about Rick Fuller, Jeff's brother, in that blue number 8, had championship hopes, hadn't won on the tour in 2002, but came in here just a handful of points behind Stefanik with an opportunity to score the title. They bent the car up early on in a skirmish. Fuller had to go to pit road. He is now 11 laps down. There he is being lapped again on the inside in that Sheba Racing number 8.
You know, and that's such a horrible deal. I mean, who would have thought that this race would have gone as much as it has right now under green flag? They got the car fixed good enough to go back out, and hopefully if a caution came 10 or, you know, 15 laps down the road, they could have come in and perfected it. But now he's just out there, and I mean, he's not having a good day.
90 laps are complete. We'll show you the top 20. Top left of your screen. Trevino is 13th. Karachi of 15th. Jamie the Jet Tomeno in the top 20 as well, former national modified champion. The 3 car running in the top 5, sitting in 5th spot right now. Right behind him is Flemke in the 79. He is 6th. And then Nevin George in the 0 has climbed all the way to 7th as they move down the back straightaway.
Where has he come from, Rick? I mean, he was, where, 23rd? You said he started, and now all of a sudden he's up there. I mean, he's just come out of nowhere.
Obviously, they're hooked up. I don't think he's quite as quick as Blewett, but it's been a very strong race car and a great drive. Let's get it downstairs to Eric Freed with an update on the Rookie of the Year battle.
Well, the 2002 Featherlite Modified Points battle came down to 5 drivers here in the final race of the season. The rookie standings, that was a slam dunk. The number 50 team here, Thompson Getty's team, They had it wrapped up the last time these cars came to Thompson back in September. It was a great rookie season for the number 50. The young driver out of Richfield, Connecticut, showing a lot of promise. So congratulations to him, the rookie champion of 2002.
I'll tell you, the owner of that team, Bob Cuneo, he is phenomenal when it comes to building chassis, and he was down south for a while working with the likes of Jeff Bodine and some Winston Cup teams in Cincinnati. They've got an awesome program there. Todd's very fortunate to be involved with those people.
Young driver who gets a lot of support from one of his best friends, Winston Cup driver Jerry Nadeau. We'll be back with 30 to go at Thompson. Back on speed and a move for sixth. Nevin George continues his climb to the front of that zero car. He just whipped right underneath Eddie Flemke in turn 2.
And he is on a roll. Like I say, that car is really handling good for him.
Down the front straightaway. Nevin George may be the quickest car on the racetrack right now.
Look at him, just up, turn the car and back down. That's when you know you got a good car. If you can just wait for it to take a set and hit that throttle and come off that corner like that.
Dan Avery there in the 70 going another lap down to George. And we'll see if Nevin George can continue his climb to the top. He's in 6th. In front of him, the 3 car of Jerry Marquis.
Man, he's drilling these guys right in.
Marquis was the pole sitter. Nevin George about the only driver able to run the bottom in the corners and make the car work.
Yeah, he's doing an awesome job right there.
Lap traffic in front. Meantime, up front in the race, there's Blewett in the 77, and now Hausfeld is just 2 car lengths behind.
Yeah, he's closed that in real good here.
Lots of time. Blewett has led almost all the way. Out of turn 4, the 2 yellow cars running 1 and 2. 10 cars remain on the lead lap here at Thompson. Blewett has been patient working his way through the lap traffic all afternoon and evening here, but I'm sure he knows that Hausfeld has closed in on him.
Yeah, either the crew chief or the spotter or somebody's telling him that, you know, if he's got anything left, he may have to pick it up a little bit here because he is closing.
25 laps to go at Thompson. Blewett, Hausfeld, and Christopher. Nevin George is 6th ahead of Flemke. Stefanik now back in 8th. Kopech and Zach Sylvester. Now remember that Stefanik only needs to finish 11th or better to clinch the championship. It would be his 6th. Coming up on the 16 car.
Right there, that's about as high as you would ever want to be when you're passing a lap car where John was just there, because when you get up a little bit higher than that, the marbles are there, and then it takes you a lap or 2 to get them off.
That's Chris Kopech's machine, that 16. He's out of Ware, Massachusetts.
Ooh, somebody just sparked.
2 lead cars now separated by the 16, and it looks as though Blewett is going to come up and try to put a lap on Stefanik. He will sail right by the 21 on the high side. Stefanik not putting up much of a fight there as Blewett drops him 1 lap down. No change up in front.
There it is, right? Somebody's got a right rear flat right there.
Blewett moving in on Avery in the 70. Out of turn 2. Blewett starting to stretch the lead back out again here as we get close to 20 laps remaining. Mike Stefanik in the 21, Art Berry's car off the pace. Let's hear from his crew chief. Downstairs to Eric.
All right, we're down here in the Stefanik pit with Kenny Berry. How's the car driving right now for Mike? You got to love your position.
We're a little loose. We were hoping to be a little better today than we ended up, but, you know, we got a caution here. We can tighten it up. Maybe we can. For the overall picture, we can do what we got to do.
Mike said he thought he would pit today. I don't see him coming down here at all. No pit for you guys today?
I think if we get a caution here pretty quick, we're going to pit and try to tighten them up, put some tires on it. He got a damaged left front earlier on. 79 got together with him, and it's kind of hurt him since.
All right, we'll see if they're able to make the adjustments as Mike Stefanik tries for his 6th points championship.
Out in front, meantime, your leader, John Blewett III, working his way through the lap cars successfully, and he's reopened the lead to a good margin.
Kenny commented on damage to the left front against the 79. What has happened to me in the past is if you bump wheels, it'll throw the rim a little bit out, and then that left front tire will start hopping. And when it does, it wears in one spot, won't wear in the other. It just gets worse and worse as the race goes on. You have a hard time even holding on to the steering wheel.
Third spot belongs to Ted Christopher in car number 13, the Mystique Motorsports machine. Christopher with an opportunity to steal the championship from Stefanik, perhaps with a win. And Stefanik finishing deep in the field. Doesn't look as though it'll come down that way. Christopher's third. He's been there quite a while. Hasn't really been able to take a run at the leaders at all.
No, he hasn't. You know, he's doing everything that he can right now. There's no more stopping, no more anything. He's just giving it all it's got right now.
So Christopher on the gas, up in 3 and 4 in the 13 car. Looks as though his bid for the championship, even though he's won 5 races this year, will fall short. A failure to finish a couple of times has been his downfall. 15 laps remain. Your top 20, Nevin George, Eddie Flemke back in 7th. Kopech, Stefanik is 9th. Zach Sylvester rounds out the first 10 ahead of Bergman. Tommy Gravino in 13th. Beers and Tomeno, Fred Bordermeyer, Avery, J.R. Bertuccio. You saw him go a lap down a moment ago in that 2 car. Then Todd Szegedy and Tony Ferrari rounding out the first 20 as we watch Christopher settling in 3rd spot. 2 leaders continue to be Blewett in the 77, Hosfeld in the V4. Hosfeld took a run at Blewett, couldn't get very close. The laps are winding down at Thompson. Welcome back on Speed, the season finale for the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series, the Xtra Mart World Series 125. It's been dominated by John Blewett III in car number 77, Kurt Chase's Pontiac. Jeff Fuller, it's been a long time between drinks of victory champagne for this young driver.
You know, it really has. I don't believe that he's won a race since last April, a year ago. And, you know, for that team, Kurt Chase and Joan, Mark, Eric, those people there are accustomed to winning a lot, and he's a very talented driver, but the bad luck bug has just bit them for a long time now.
They have had a dominant race car here since the drop of the green. 10 laps to go at Thompson. There's Blewett all alone on the backstretch. Chuck Hosfeld reeled him in at one point in lap traffic about 30 laps ago. Got within a couple of car lengths of the 77, and then that was it. The V4 just couldn't get any closer.
And again, I mean, strategy. The strategy is everything in this racing game. And either the crew chief or the spotter or whatever said, hey, you know, we don't mind you conserving a little bit, but, you know, he's right in your rearview mirror now. So maybe he picked it up a little bit, or maybe the 4 got a little loose.
Taking a look at Mike Stefanik in car number 21. He is 9th. He went a lap down. They did pit that car just as we went to break. They were trying to tighten it up, or at least that was the thought, make it a little more drivable for Stefanik, who appears to be on his way to his 6th championship in the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series. Stefanik not winning that title, I'm sure, in the way he would have liked to today, but the car just hasn't really been right all afternoon.
It has, and like I say, I mean, with these cars, hey, you could be 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch off on your stagger, and the reaction that you get out of taking, you know, just it sounds like trivial stuff, 1/8 inch of stagger, but believe me, that makes a big difference with these race cars.
You look there at that Budweiser number 70, the red car of Dan Avery, 2 laps down in 17th spot. Car wiggling badly going into 3. Handling is so critical in these race cars, and obviously that car not anywhere near Avery would like it to be.
Man, he is loose getting into the corner, and if you're loose getting in, you're real loose in the middle and loose coming off. He's got his hands full right there.
Stefanik just riding 3rd in line in the traffic. Back to the leader, Blewett up in turn 1. All by himself. Just needs to keep that car between the white lines for a couple of more minutes to score his first win in more than a year and a half on the Modified Tour.
Boy, that will be one party, because like I say, it's been a long dry spell for that team.
4 laps to go. They passed lap 120 of 125 here at Thompson. Nobody leaving because it's been a full weekend of racing, and there's even more ahead here. Super modifieds, midgets, pro stocks, and a whole lot of other automobiles in the pit area this weekend. But the headline series, the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series, in their season finale for 2002. Teddy Christopher in the 13 car rides 3rd, behind leader Blewett here in the 77.
This is pretty nerve-wracking when you come up on somebody with just a couple laps left like that. It's like, man, come on, spotter, give me a break here. Cut me some slack. It's been a long time. I mean, you hear all these little things happening to the car. You just, you know, it's a nervous moment for John right now.
Moving up around the 79 of Ed Flemke Jr. to put him a lap down. Flemke running in the top 10, shown 7th. So that shows you the good pace that Blewett's been able to maintain. When you lap all but the top 5 or 6 cars, you're really getting it done. White flag in the air, 1 to go for Blewett.
Hang on, man. Just one more lap.
Hosfeld in the V4 rides in second spot. He mounted a charge on Blewett around lap 100, but was unable to get very close and try to take a run at the lead. And here he comes out of turn 4. Final time to the checkered flag. John Blewett III out of Howell, New Jersey is your winner. Chuck Hosfeld finishes second. Ted Christopher will come across the stripe in third. And Mike Stefanik in car number 21 will finish ninth, and that'll be good enough to give Stefanik and Art Berry's team the championship in the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series. It's the 6th title for Mike Stefanik.
That is just incredible for somebody to win that many titles. And, man, I'll tell you what, my hat's off to that team.
Well, John Blewett III from Howell, New Jersey scores his first victory in the series this year. The Madra Battisto Contractors Pontiac, owned by Kurt Chase. And there's Mike Stefanik and Art Berry's 21. Not the way Steffi would have liked to come across the stripe, I'm sure, in 9th, a lap down, but good enough to pick up the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series crown for the 6th time in his glorious Northeastern career.
Yeah, in this division here, you won't see him doing the burnouts for winning the championship or winning the race or whatever. They kind of put a nix on that. I mean, watch him make a liar out of me, but you're not supposed to do any burnouts in this division.
Well, Blewett took the lead getting around Ted Christopher after a restart back on lap 15. He led the remaining 110 laps, so certainly a dominant victory for John Blewett III here today. And that's the way you want it as a driver, Jeff. You know, for the fans, you like to see close competition, some lead changes, but if you're able to lead most of the race and dominate, that's certainly a good feeling, isn't it?
It's not that I'm selfish or anything. I don't care. When you're out driving the car, I'd love it if it's a boring race. As long as we're out front, that's what I care about.
Mike Stefanik with his 9th place finish, 2nd consecutive Modified Series championship for Mike and his car owner Art Berry and the Lombardi Inside Out team. And next year, Steffi planning a full-time drive in the Busch North Series, where he's got 2 championships. He'll be back with the Burnham Boilers bunch in Busch North next year. But if this is the end of his Modified Series career, at least for now, certainly leaving it in style. Blewett in the 77 getting the congratulations from his team in Victory Lane. And when you win the last race of the year, it's always nice. It always gives you something to build on over the winter, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it makes the winter go by real quick.
It's young John Blewett III climbing out, getting congratulations from his family and his team. And we'll talk to the winner and the series champion when we continue on Racing Across America. Back to Thompson International Speedway on Speed Channel with Jeff Fuller. I'm Rick Benjamin. Eric Freed's been busy on pit road for us today. The Xtra Mart 125 is over. Let's talk to our winner.
Well, it wasn't much of a race here at Thompson, although John Blewett III, you look like you've been through the ringer a little bit. You look like you had a rocket ship out there today. You were fast and you were ahead of the field, but you had some tough guys behind you.
The car was good all day. It was no Sunday drive by no means, you know. When you're racing against these guys, they're tough, and you're racing against the best. But I tell you, the car was awesome. My sponsor, Bob McHugh from Madra Battisto, he told me this morning, just go for it. He says, you got nothing to lose. It's the last race. We got all winter to fix it. So I just went, and the car was awesome. S&S race chassis, Redline Oil, VP race fuels, everybody. Bob Bruneau race engines. They just stood behind us all year long. And we've been close a couple times, but today we won. You know, there was no 2 ways about it, and I can't thank them enough.
When we went into your pit late in the race, they said if you saw yellow, you'd probably be seeing red out there. You wanted it to stay green the whole way because your car was that good and you didn't want to bring anybody closer to you.
Yeah, it's tough here. When I seen I was putting good cars a lap down, I tried to put as many as I could, so if we did have to pit, you know, you'd only be racing a few cars. But to be honest with you, I thought the race was 150 laps. About 75 in, I started pacing myself. I said, well, you know, we still got a long ways to go. And he told me 20 to go. I looked at the board. I said, oh, it's 125. And I poured it on the last 10 laps. And the car was excellent.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't think it was, or miss out on a 175 lap. Then you'd really be in trouble. But 125 is good because you're in the lead then, and you've got your first win. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
John Blewett III, 150 laps, 125. Who's counting? He's counting his first win.
That's why they put radios in these things, so your crew can keep you straight, right, Jeff Fuller?
Well, usually, you know.
Blewett the winner, Hosfeld a good second, then Christopher and Charlie Pastriak with a good run. How about Nevin George to 5th from 23rd?
Unbelievable. I mean, he came out of nowhere to finish there.
Jimmy Broderick 11th ahead of Tommy Cravino, Dave Bergman. Joey Caraccia with a 14th. He had problems at Stafford a few weeks ago. Good run for him today. and then Jamie Tomato. Kevin Konopka gets 21st ahead of Rick Fuller, who struggled all day. His title bid without winning a race this year comes up a bit short. Etheridge, Airy, Rene Dupuis involved in that wreck. L.W. Miller and Bo Gunning were out early on with problems. Bo Gunning involved in a scramble right off the drop of the green, couple of flat tires, and he went behind the wall. The series champion for the 6th time is Mike Stefanik. Here's Eric.
Here he is. He's done it again. Mike Stefanik. And the champagne at the ready. I'm sorry to leave you alone like that, Mike, but what a battle. I have to tell you, you probably thought for a while out there that you weren't going to make it around because you had to battle that thing from the very beginning after a little incident early on.
Yeah, I banged tires at 79. I don't know if it did something to the left front tire or what, but it started bouncing. We get them from time to time, and it's like going down the train tracks. You almost lose your blurred vision. So we had our hands full. I was hoping for a caution to get it changed, but we never got a caution. That was amazing to go that far, and we were like bombing around, you know. But I didn't mind bombing around and winning another championship. This is number 8. When you add the Busch Norris into it, 8 championships, 8 diamond rings. Let me tell you, that's pretty cool.
Well, you were bouncing around there, but certainly this team all season long stayed focused. That was kind of summed up the season for you guys because you had some highs and lows, but this must be the highest of all for this season.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Art Berry, the guy works his tail off, his son Kenny, the whole team. I mean, this is a new car. We've only run it 3 times. It didn't look too pretty today, but if we could have just put some tires on, we'd have been okay. But I can't believe we bombed around and won a championship like that. I wasn't concerned. I was as fast as I could go.
It's like, hey, Mike, it's like in golf. There are no descriptions on the scorecard. The trophy, you're 6th in the Featherlite Modified Tour. There'll be no description on this final race today. It's your title again.
That's true. I mean, you know, another championship. I don't know what to say. That makes 8 in my career. 8 diamond rings. They gave one to my wife, so one to my father. I'm just so happy. I am really happy. The championships savor them all winter. Real nice to savor in a group of guys like this.
There he is, the champion yet again, Mike Stefanik. Congratulations to him, the champion of the 2002 Featherlite Modified Tour.
I'll tell you, Rick, I mean, that is, like he just said, that is such a good feeling to win a championship and be able to, you know, to build on that all winter, to keep the guys' morale up, to get the, you know, the thing going for the next year. I mean, that's, I feel that is absolutely incredible for Stefanik to do that.
And you described it, I think, that wheel-wanging incident with Eddie Flemke early, that just, it caused enough problems with the handling of the 21 to put him off the pace.
It did. I mean, I've had that situation happen to me before when the tire just gets so bad that it almost takes the steering wheel out of here and you have a hard time seeing.
And they decided to hang on rather than pit and try to fix it, and it pays off in a title for Stefanik. More to come. We'll be back at Thompson. Out after the Xtra Mart World Series 125 for the NASCAR Featherlite Modified Series, the finale for 2002. Your final standings: Stefanik, the champion, defeating Ted Christopher by 50 points. Haasfeld in his first full year in the Tour. And Flemke, Todd Zegedy finishes 7th with Nevin George 8th in the final standings. Let's meet the championship car owner.
All right, we're here with car owner Art Berry, and I thought Mike's smile was big, but your smile's been very big down there. This is one to be very proud of because there certainly were a lot of ups and hills and valleys in this season.
There sure was. Here about 3-4 months ago, we didn't even know if we were going to be here tonight, but we kind of pulled ourselves up out of the hole, and it's awful awesome to do this 2 in a row.
Was it just absolute teamwork for you to come out, pull yourselves out of the hole? Because that's what Mike was raving about today, that everybody helped and pulled each other up.
Well, it was a lot of teamwork. You know, we had some problems, and we all stuck together and said we could do it. And I'm pretty proud of the whole team.
Well, you should be. Art Berry, a proud car owner here today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Guy's been around for an awfully long time in the NASCAR modified business. Good to see the Art Berry team pick up another championship. And they'll be looking for a driver. Stefanik moves on at the end of the season. Let's get the thoughts of the points runner-up.
All right, here now with Ted Christopher, who finishes 2nd in the points, and it was a battle. You see Rick Fuller go down early. Are you thinking, do your eyes get a little wide here? Like, well, wait a minute, the door's cracked open here a little bit.
Yeah, you know, like I told a bunch of people today, the biggest thing we had to look for was if Michael had a problem. And, you know, if he didn't have a problem, it was pretty tough to pass him. But, you know, he ran all day and didn't have a problem, and Ricky did. So, you know, that opened the door, so at least probably finished 2nd. And finishing 2nd to Mike Stefanik, who's won this championship so many times, is nothing to be ashamed of. As a first-year team with us, and we won the most races. We won the Gatorade Front Runner Award, so we're doing pretty good. We're looking forward to next year.
5 wins this season, most for anybody, and that's got to be a great foundation, really, and to finish second in the points battle. You guys already got to start thinking about next year already, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're already starting to build cars and everything. Our car owner is a real great guy, Jim Galante. He gives us everything we need. And back at Stafford in the fall final, he already laid plans for next year of what he wants to do, and so we're set for next year. You know, he wanted this year. We put together this team, you know, the first year, and he wanted to win one race and hopefully be in contention for the points. And you know, we won 5 races, so he was real happy with that. And you know, we finished second to Mike Stefanik, so you know, it's a pretty good deal.
All in the season's work. TC, great season. Thanks very much. Third today in this race, but second in the points battle.
Good smile for the guy they call Terrible Ted at a lot of racetracks around the Northeast, but good to see him with a good run here today. Young Chuck Hosfeld, meantime, really a good effort. They come home in second spot with Bob Garbarino's V4 car, and that puts Hosfeld up into third in the final standings, Eric.
We have caught up with Chuck Hosfeld, who finished, well, second today, third in points. That's not a bad season's work for your team, Chuck.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you, we had a great season. We were very consistent all year, and last week we had a wreck at Martinsville, which took us out of the points, but my team did a heck of a job putting the car back together, and when we got here today, it was right on. The whole crew works great, and you know, I really appreciate that. That means a lot.
Well, obviously you came into the season with a lot of ability that you'd shown before, but how much did you learn after this 19-race season?
I learned a lot. You know, I was pretty familiar with the cars, but the different tracks we went to, I learned a lot about them. And I'll tell you, I'd also like to thank NASCAR. Ed Cox and his crew do a heck of a job, and they make it fun and very professional at the same time, so it makes it a lot of fun to race here.
And you learn it's pretty tough to try to overtake Mike Stefanik from just a few points back, let alone double digits back.
Yeah, you know, he did a heck of a job this year. Congratulations to him, and also John today for the race. You know, he was just that little bit better than us, and unfortunately we were the first loser.
Well, congratulations on a fine season and a fine race today.
Thank you.
Chuck Hosfeld, though, I think Jeff Fuller, a guy who's got a really good future in front of him.
He's got a whale of a future in front of him.